Tonight, we're going to be talking about all of the big and surprising reveals from Hasbro at their 10/27 event for 2024. We're going to talk about all of that and more on this episode of Geek Dad Live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Geek Dad Live. My name is Jay, and with me tonight, I almost had to cancel the stream, ladies and gentlemen, because he showed up in a Dodger hat. Let's welcome Adam from Highly Articulated. Adam, how you doing?
Hello, Governor.
Hello. Cherry day. We're having. No joke. I texted Colleen. I was like, bring down a Padre hat. I can't let this Dodger hat stand on my channel. At least without some counter.
I was saying the last time the Dodgers faced the Padres knocked the Dodgers out of the playoffs.
It should have been again. We should have done it again. We were up 2 games
I'm
to
just
1.
saying it wasn't a lock this year either, but the Dodgers came through. So
yeah, we'll see. Go Yankees. But if you want to get into Padres baseball talk, I have a Padres channel on YouTube. It's called Padres Talking Padres. I do it with my dad and my uncle.
Makes sense.
And we talk Padres. Bricks says, chat's going too fast. Put me in with my Giants hat, psych. Is he still streaming, or did he just finish?
No,
I feel like I saw him
done.
streaming as I was trying to get stuff ready real quick. But yeah, you kick off, I feel like, Sunday toy coverage. And then, because when do you start on Sundays usually?
So I do Sundays at 2 p.m. Pacific. So and it's intentional because there's so much stuff, later in the afternoon and then into the evening that it just there was no other room for me. So I just took the only space available and went a little bit earlier.
No, it totally makes sense. Listen, I have family from LA. Part of my origin story is in LA. There's a lot of things I love about LA, and there's a lot of great things there. And if you're a Dodger fan, I'm happy for you, but also screw the Dodgers. Anywho, moving on. What was I going to say? Oh, so anyway, Adam, it's been this has been a crazy day for toy news and for just me personally. The original title for this episode was Surprising Reveals from MCM Comic-Con in London, because Hasbro dropped some stuff there and it was kind of cool and exciting. And then co-host of Screen Geeks, longtime friend of the channel, just longtime friend in life, my buddy Ralph, made a documentary about Lost called Getting Lost. And they had the East Coast premiere today in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. So family, we drove out to Winston-Salem, an hour-and-a-half drive. We're there for the East Coast premiere. And then my longtime Lost podcast co-host, Jack, who's also my dad, we did a Q&A afterwards. And there were so many people that wanted to talk Lost. We went on for an hour and a half. So I did an hour-and-a-half Q&A about the TV show Lost, drove an hour and a half back to Raleigh, and then jumping in to this seat. And right before we went live, I changed the thumbnail to be more 1027 focused. So this time I was late because I had to change it up, and I got here late. But excited to be here tonight. Toy Geeks podcast will return this week. I got sick coming out of New York Comic-Con, just couldn't record last week. But I believe we are recording tomorrow evening. And if our guest for that one stays true, it's going to be really cool. I'm excited for the guest tomorrow. Adam, I'm going to get you on at some point as well for one of, you got to tell me a year you really like for GI Joe. We got to get you on too. But I believe this week we are covering the cartoon or the cartoons in general. So more GI Joe talk on the Toy Geeks podcast. And yeah, all right, let's say hello to the chat.
Are you going to do both the Sunbow and the Geek? Is it going to be the same episode or separate?
Well, I think we're covering everything.
I just thought you could have an episode. You could have an episode that focused entirely on the Geek cartoon and call it Geeks on Geek. Get an Australian co-host for that one, because it would really play well with that accent.
Oh my God. All right, let's say hello to the chat. It's hopping as always. Already over 240 people here watching. Hit the like button, everybody. If you missed out on 1027 like I did, because even though I'm a Hasbro Pulse member, I didn't get a link. Did anybody get a link? Did you get a link?
Well, the thing is, it's normally not on a Sunday morning.
It happened Sunday morning? Is that when?
Well, 27th today. Like it was more like it normally it's on like a Tuesday.
Yeah.
They do it in the afternoon, and it's like not a big deal or whatever. But it was a Sunday morning because it's tied to the address, so the date is like set, right?
Which is cool. It works great for this show and your show and any other show that streams on Sunday. Because usually drops happen on Tuesday, and our friends at Toy Anxiety get all like the best day because they get all the toy drops that day. But today is not that day. Today we get some good toy news.
Yeah, but we still have to talk about Toy Anxiety because they were on 10/27.
They were on 10/27.
Jerks.
They had a crazy day on, I think they did all that on the Friday of New York Comic Con. They did a thing at the Firehouse in the morning. Then we both needed to make it to the Mondo panel. And then they did their booth tour. They filmed their booth tour. Then I filmed my booth tour with Mondo. Then they went to go film that 10/27 thing. Then they had to come back to the convention center to do cover the Hasbro panel. It's not easy being a toy tuber, folks.
No. Being a nerd is hard. It's hard.
It's tough. It's a lot of work. It ain't easy. If you're like, oh man, it'd be so cool to be Jay and Adam and talk about toys and blah blah blah. It's a lot of work. But I'm not trying to ask people to feel sorry for us. We get to have a lot of fun. Speaking of New York Comic Con, finally met Mike. Ooh, okay. I've been saying Giarlico forever for this gentleman. He told me, it's like, you've been saying my name wrong for 5 years or whatever it's been. And now it's been like a week and I think I've forgotten. He told me how to pronounce it correctly, but I'm going to try to remember Mike. It's Mike Giarlico. I think that's the way I'm supposed to pronounce it.
I was thinking it would probably be something like that. Yeah.
Like Giarlico, something like that, I think. Yeah. I may have still messed it up, but I think that's closer than what I have been saying, Mike. We'll start with him when we got Mike, Stanley, Wages of Cine, Peak Obi-Wan is here, Country Boy Niner, Angry Elf, Nick Dillinger, Chris Doralaxian is here, Slave Talea, Z-Man at the Potty is here, Cone Killer Confuser, Chad Stewart, Paul Galliano in the house, Wolf Den Collectibles, Mo Das, Doralaxian, I'm gonna do it again, Luis Ballestros, Derek Dalzell, Gage Bullock, Frankie Rivera, Tony Taboni, Angry Elf Mint with card, James Beneful, Russell Cruz is here, Jack Knight, Matt Bush, Studio Henge Kenton, McFly, hello McFly Toys, Free Reign Dave is here, Rick Shatterglass, Brick something, Shannon Edge, Gady's Toys, Leo or Leo, however you want to swing that one. You're close. All right, I'm getting closer, Mike. I'm getting closer. Shelf Presence. Jay never gonna say my name right. What else could it be then? Doralaxian. Dorlaxin. I put an I in there, don't I?
There's so many people. There's so many people that wait. Let me rephrase that. There's a few people that watch my show, and of them, most of them are like repeat offenders, and most of the time, like, I just have nicknames for half of them because I'm not reading the whole thing.
All right, I think I've been saying Dorlaxin's name wrong. I think it's Dorlaxin. That's going to be my guess. Shiny Plastic People. I know how to pronounce that. Hopefully, Larry's Geeky World, Benjamin Root, Nolan Smedberg. And so more. Just call me Door. Okay, there we go. All right, Adam. A lot has been revealed today across MCM. Oh, we have gifts being sent out. Sorry. Shelf Presence dropped 5 GDL memberships. So for our newest members,
I got family.
You got family with the GDL family. We also have some anniversaries. Angry Elf, member for 2 years. He got 2 years of GDL family memberships. Jeff White, member for 2 years and 2 months. And Dave, gifted 5 Geek Dad Life memberships. Thank you. Thank you for the gifts of GDL membership. So much fun. Matt Bush is easy, I will say. Pretty easy. Okay. So we had GI Joe stuff. We had Marvel Legends. We had Marvel stuff
in it.
Shout out Dan Hu, by the way. We had what was it? Star Wars stuff. We had Transformers stuff. We generally don't cover Transformers stuff on here, but we're definitely gonna talk about that Devastator, folks.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna dig into the charts on the Haslab. Is totally gonna happen. It's woo. It'll the Haslab's looking good. The Tully, not so much. We'll dive into that. And more. Oh, and then you've got an indie toy line that's up right now for people to crowdfund and support. We've actually, I saw it at PowerCon, was it a year or so ago?
Yep.
We talked about it on the channel before, but it's really cool. Definitely want to get some eyes on it. Hopefully give it that GDL bump. Speaking of GDL bumps, not that it was me or this channel or anything like that, but 9 to 5 Warriors, it was like 4,000 short of its goal, and it stormed past its goal of what was it, $45,000, and went like into the 50,000s. Unlocked the sugar character.
Yeah, they were just short of unlocking the peanut can, which to me is like that. That's the one. That's the figure in the line for me.
Could it still hit it in, the what's that thing, the backer kit
or late pledges? So Kickstarter now has late pledges too, so you can kind of like keep going. It doesn't, and then if you're the creator, you can sort of choose to allow those numbers to go towards it or not. But
I hope so for that one.
Most people in the sort of the toy world seem to include those numbers towards their unlocks. So the peanut can, that one's awesome with the peanuts that go inside.
Cool. So cool. But out of all that, for 1027, if you don't know, Hasbro for the past few years, really since they took PulseCon online, which was what, 4 years ago?
Yeah, I think there's been 3 years of PulseCon and 3 years of 1027.
Okay. So 1027 is it the address of the Hasbro headquarters?
Yeah.
In Rhode Island, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So they've done these kind of little baby streams after PulseCon, and I'm kind of shocked they've kept the 1027 game up, just because it made sense when conventions kind of went quiet because of COVID to do PulseCon and stuff like that, and this 1027. But now that you have conventions that Hasbro shows up to, like San Diego Comic-Con, New York Comic-Con, the MCM Comic-Con in London this weekend, you would think they still don't have enough reveals for PulseCon and 1027. And then you could argue PulseCon this year didn't have a ton of stuff for PulseCon. It was just a one-day kind of thing. But they had some decent reveals in 1027, some good stuff. So do you want to jump into GI Joe first? What do you want to jump into?
Yeah, I mean, whatever. I'm let's roll with whatever. But you do make a good point. Like when there was no conventions and when Hasbro was staying in-house for everything, they were doing PulseCon and then 1027, and it was sort of like PulseCon was all the reveals, and then 1027 was sort of like, okay, and now here's all the pre-orders, and that's when lots of things went live and they kind of added to it. But you're going, okay, we got San Diego Comic-Con, which is arguably like the biggest, best sort of place for reveals. But then, like, what, 2 weeks ago was New York Comic-Con? MCM London was this past weekend, or like this weekend.
This weekend's MCM. Last weekend was New York Comic-Con. I was in New York like a week ago. What the hell is time?
They just it's like they're spreading it too thin now. Now it's like they got to hold something back. Did you watch the panels from MCM London?
No.
They're just they're at a desk in their booth, and there's like people walking around, and it's like it clearly is not set up the way that some of these other conventions are.
Well, because I assume like to go to I don't know Hasbro's corporate inner workings or whatever, but I have to. I mean, maybe they have an office in London. That seems really expensive, but like it's probably whatever they can fit in a suitcase to take over there. So they can't have like a big setup, right?
It's just like, oh, and actually, I'm not a people getting laid off is terrible. Like that
it's
sucks.
awful, yeah.
But Hasbro is a corporation, and that's the way corporations work. It sucks. But so one of the guys that got laid off like 3 days ago was supposed to go to London. He had the samples to take to London, but he didn't go to London. So the GI Joe panel at MCM London was just Emily with a laptop and just showing slides on a TV. It was the weirdest thing. Like, how do you not coordinate that? How is there not somebody in an office that's like the liaison between the CEO guys that are not ever getting fired?
Because here's
and the people that get fired that actually have work to do.
I've been in the corporate world. I've been in the tech corporate world for over a decade, and I experienced layoffs, or I've been through layoffs at least every single year, and especially post-pandemic hiring surge, we have layoffs like every quarter. People are getting laid off. It's awful. And I have been a part of those planning meetings before, and usually they don't want to tell anybody because they don't want anybody to know they're getting let go, so they get as much work out of you as possible, or also you don't flip out and try to steal stuff from the company or whatever. So they just this stuff happens, and it's awful.
So weird.
And to the Hasbro, people that were affected, it's terrible. For people that are still at Hasbro, I feel for you. Again, I've been on both sides of it professionally, and it sucks either way. It sucks more to lose your job, obviously, but to be the people that are left behind, you have that survivor's guilt. You also have more work to do because there's less people to do it. You also don't know about your own future because, okay, well, they got let go. Am I next? That kind of crap. So I give the Hasbro teams that are still there credit for still going out there and trying to make these things happen, not knowing that, hey, it could be me next. And that's just a terrible, terrible situation for them to be in. And I hope it slows down, but it's been a wild space in corporate world for the past couple of years.
Yeah, it's I mean, that's got to be you talk about a morale killer. Like,
absolutely,
we're gonna do all these shows and we're flying high on all these reveals and stuff. Oh, by the way, the guy who was gonna go with you, he just got sacked. You're going by yourself, and you don't have the product that you were supposed to have for the reveal. Oh man, the timing is just it's bad enough that you're going to lay off all those people. Then the optics of it, when you do it right at the time that these people are literally doing their jobs, it just doesn't make any sense. Clearly the guy was doing enough to be that involved. I don't know. Doesn't make sense.
Because it's not always about your performance. It may just be maybe you make too much, or it's just there's a whole multitude of reasons, and it's not always you're not a good employee. It's just, or you're not essential. It's just, well, we got to make cuts, and Emily is a freaking rock star, keeping all together with bubblegum and paper clips. Everybody that's still there and working really hard to make these things happen. I know we like to give Hasbro flack, or really any company flack, for shortcomings or whatever. But do realize these are real people, and they're good people. They're toy fans like us. They're toy geeks like us, and they're trying. Think about just being creative and trying to be creative and execute in that tumultuous space. So we got maybe this is related. I don't know. A $6.66 super chat from Brick Something. Boo, layoffs. Yay, Savage Press, Nemesis Immortal, a new MCU Falcon. What else needs the GDO bump? Pictures of a massive AWOC elephant. I mean, Brick, you want to come on and share some pictures? I guess you have them too, Adam. You both.
Yeah, I sent you a link to an update in the private
cool.
chat there.
We'll get to that too tonight.
We were talking before we started about people who aren't good at selling things. I'm right there with those guys. We were talking about creators that aren't really good at selling a product. I didn't even think to like mention the elephant, but whatever. There he is.
Okay. Do you want? We're starting with GI Joe, right? Joe's.
Let's do it.
Brick something. Nah, I'm ugly. Adam's hot. I wouldn't say that, Brick. I have gotten comments saying, I like when you have Brick something on. He's cute.
Get the eye candy on, okay?
I'm just both. You're both handsome men. Adam, you're handsome.
Brick's handsome. I've met him in person, and it's the video doesn't do him justice.
Really? He's even better in person?
He looks better in person.
I'm way worse in person. I look like a melted butter sculpture. But yeah, handsome gentleman. Okay, so this Nemesis Immortal, speaking of slides on a laptop, that's what we kind of got from MCM Con. So I'm glad we got more detailed looks during the Pulse 1027 event. And this thing looks amazing. It's I had the vintage figure. It's a fun figure. It didn't look anywhere near as badass as this.
No. No, the vintage figure is kind of like, I get why vintage GI Joe collectors kind of look at Cobra Law as like this weird thing that Hasbro tried. And I, when I look at my classified shelf and I look at this figure, there is admittedly a disconnect. Yes. However, this looks awesome. Just objectively as a figure collector.
Yes.
This is definitely one of those rule of cool figures where for a major company to put out a figure like this, a character like this, it's very impressive. And the way they did the articulation with the wings and, the updates that they've done to the design and stuff like that with all the textures and the little green bendy wire armed creature that they basically sort of sold it as like, this is his animal companion. Like this is his pet. I was like, that's a great spin on it. I love it. Yeah, I can't wait to get this one. They nailed this one.
Yeah, I agree that, like, does it fit in with GI Joe? Whatever. Like, it's part of GI Joe.
It doesn't have to. It's so cool.
Yeah, whatever. It's just a cool ass toy. And yeah, I didn't have the wing one. I had the tentacle when I actually still have one in my collection over there. But yeah, it just, the wings look freaking cool. And the articulation in the wings, like, they're more, I don't know, wing-tastic than the neck of gargoyles wings. No offense, you can do more with them. And
yeah, they went kind of organic too. Like it's got a butterfly joint where the wing connects to the backpack. Like, so that the wing will actually kind of move. Like the MCU wings look great. They look mechanical and there's tons of hinges and it's very obvious. But they've included articulation in these so that they can kind of move and bend and sort of pose a little bit more like they are an organic part of the character of the figure. So this is, yeah, I was saying that this could fit on a Mythic Legion shelf, or this could fit in with, like, Monster Force, or like your NECA Universal Monsters shelf.
Yeah,
like it doesn't it because it's kind of monstrous. It doesn't really get pigeonholed into that military aesthetic, which is great. If you don't collect the military stuff. But like I said, the GI Joe guys are like, I don't want this. Like, oh, that's fine. You don't have to buy everything. I don't buy everything, but I'm definitely getting this.
Is it offensive to say to those people, be like, do you even GI Joe, bro? Because like, why I understand the military aspect is the core foundation for what GI Joe, a real American hero, is, or classified is, but the weird stuff is, at least for me, the part that appeals to me, or when it goes more sci-fi. And it's been really fun diving into the 80s GI Joe Real American Hero figures for the Toy Geeks podcast with Dan Larson. because it's been fun to kind of see the evolution from, articulated Green Army men to just, cool superhero, fantastical kind of designs and
wild neon laser
right.
guns.
Exactly. And we're splitting in half. We're doing 80s and then 90s later, so it's only the 80s. But even in the 80s, you're getting to like laser guns and vibrant colors and just wild stuff. And it's so much fun.
I always, like, as a kid, and even more so now, I lean way more into that near future sci-fi aspect of GI Joe than the realistic military part. Like, to me, GI Joe was never realistic. It was never meant to be an ad for join the military.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
it's like the furthest thing from that. I think that's sort of the starting point. But they're in space, and there's fatal furries, and Cobra Law, and all this stuff that really does not lend itself well to sort of realistic in any way. So yeah, fatal fluffies. Yeah, I hope they make them. I hope it's a 2-pack. I hope you get the cute one, and I hope you get the big mean one.
Yep. It just looks good. It looks really, you can tell like they wanted to have fun with this one, which is exciting. Like, that's when this stuff's exciting.
And for anybody that didn't see 1027, like the actual video, hopefully they kind of make it available at some point, or you can find the link for it or whatever. But when Lenny's talking about this, and he's talking about why it has the wings, and why it has all this stuff, and why it has the kind of bone stuff.
Yeah,
it was really, really interesting, because he leaned really far into like the lore of this, because we don't really have much lore for it, but saying that he can kind of like grow more bone as armor if he needs it for defense, which is why he has that alternate head. So it's just really, really cool. I want more of this stuff in classified, personally.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. I think it's true for a lot of fans, honestly. Which I think is good. So I don't know if they covered this in 1027, but this was at MCM, I believe, in the slideshow. These
Love this.
Cobra. Yes. I guess for those of you who know what this is, like what is this?
So they are releasing there's a repainted alley viper called a trench viper, which yeah, it's cool. But they're doing this, you get kind of 1 cube per figure, and it appears to be modular. It appears that you can kind of build it together with other ones, which is what's shown in this little slide here, and then put the ladders on. I'm just really excited by the idea that Hasbro is doing play sets.
Yeah.
Like, this is a modular playset in 1/12 scale that people have been asking for, and here it is. Like, you can see on the far right of that picture on the top floor, there's that gray rack, which is like a weapons rack, and then those ladders are 2 pieces, and they attach together, and you could stack them, and you can set that wall up however you want once you cook them all together. I love this. I think this is the direction that they should have taken a while ago, but I mean, they've had, I believe, quite a bit of success with the vehicles for the classified line. So it kind of made sense to sort of go this route. I hope we get one for the GI Joe side too, sooner rather than later. So
yeah, I just think it's so cool. Like, we need, well, okay, you don't need. I'm a playset guy, though.
Yeah,
I'm a playset guy, and I do think in 6-inch scale or 1/12 scale, you usually forego playsets because it's in that scale. It's kind of absurd, right? It would be a stupid expensive thing, or maybe just get a little bit. But this build a playset idea or concept's a great way. And it's simple. It's not anything that complicated or whatever, but you can kind of build environments for your figures. And that's just really cool. And again, this is Dave. I kind of thought the same, like, first glance, just kind of like scrolling through Twitter. It's like, oh, is that like pieces to a terradrome? Because it could be, because like the terradrome is just kind of you have these little garages,
little pockets.
Right on the bottom, and then you have the the base on the top or whatever.
Yeah.
But like you could build a Terradrome, or at least like a section of a Terradrome this way.
You could build anything. Like what I was saying is, if they do this first and then sort of keep adding onto this, it could just sort of be like, as long as they use the same kind of modular configuration for how these all click together.
Yeah,
they could go anywhere with it, and it could sort of be like, in 3 years they could be like, hey, if you bought one of everything that we made up to this point, here's the last piece, and it's sort of the Terradrome control room that goes on the top. They go, hey, if you have one of everything we've made so far, this is just going to lock right on top, and you're going to have a Terradrome. Ooh. That to me it's genius. But if they should get ahead of the marketing in that respect now and be like, hey, you're probably going to want 2 of these by the time 2028 rolls around.
Yeah, can toy collectors be that long, like, distance time mindset?
Yeah,
like,
I don't.
We're so in the media, and we don't worry about it. But I love the idea as a concept. I'll tell you what, like, I would be more likely to be a completist if Hasbro was like, hey, you don't want to miss these, because a couple years down the road, you could be putting yourself together a Terradrome playset, or GI Joe headquarters or whatever.
I think the danger is if you tell people that in 3 years you're going to do a Terradrome, and you
have to fulfill
and it takes 4 years.
True.
You're going to have a year of people shouting at you.
Yeah.
The interim year of like, we didn't release it yet, we still want to. So that's where I think it's difficult, and I think that's where they probably wouldn't say anything. But that in 2 years they could say, hey, all these things that we've been putting out that look small and don't really amount to much. Here's a little set that sort of is connector pieces and like an additional thing that will work with anything that you've bought previously. Make it a Hasbro Pulse exclusive or whatever, so that it's a limited run and they don't have to like send it everywhere and lose money on it. But I don't know. I mean, I think there's just. But then again, in the back of my head, I'm like, it's Hasbro. They don't really they don't like making cool stuff all the time. They kind of just they get lucky sometimes, and it's like maybe they're not thinking that far ahead.
Well, I think things drown in the corporate bureaucracy, right? For Mattel or Hasbro, right? Like, it's the more and more I talk to and befriend the people that make these things, the more and more I realize how lucky. And again, I know this, I don't want it to make it sound like we're so lucky the corporate overlords give us these toys.
Yeah.
Like, screw that. But it is kind of a little miracle that we get a lot of these things from a collector perspective, because I know I have heard that the higher up, the suits, they don't care.
They don't get it.
They don't get it. They don't give a flying flip. And it takes people at the ground level, the people that we see that are passionate about this, that make these, they have to go fight to make things happen. And so many ideas, really cool ideas. Like, I've seen cool ish that will never get made because they just couldn't break through the bureaucracy of the whatever of the corporate overlords to make this happen. And so I agree, like, that level of commitment to say over 3 years you're getting on, and we promise we're gonna get it. Just and of all the little miracles that it takes for us to get cool toys to put on our shelves, that one is probably a bridge too far, but it would be really cool.
I know it's a pipe dream more than anything, but it's just I just feel like there's potential there, and I just it's a bummer that they can't really capitalize on the potential. But anyway,
I love some Brian Rink. AWOC build a treehouse on the horizon and Brick something response. You get one stick at a time. It'll be done by 2047.
I will, Brian Brink. Let me know what your order numbers are, and I'll personally put one piece in per. It'll be a popsicle stick, but you can do with it what you want. One per figure.
And Mr. Ryan Clark, corporate cares about profit. That's it, because they're beholden to shareholders, and shareholders want profit. They want more value for their shares. They don't give a crap about anything down here as long as it makes money. They would murder the things you love if it meant they made money. Like they don't care. They don't care.
Yeah.
For better or worse, I don't know. This is the world we live in, folks. Anywho,
these look great, and I'm picking up a few of these.
Same.
I don't even want that trench viper, but that's fine. I'll find somebody who does.
There's the image of the little gun rack there, which is cool. Or pew pew rack. I don't want to get monetized. And then this from Classic Toys UK, kind of showing different stuff that was shown on the slides. Blowtorch. I think we just cut. Anyways, Blowtorch looks great. They all look great. But anything here surprise you or get you excited from what they show at the slides at MCM?
I mean, all of it and none of it apart from Nemesis Immortal. I don't think, I've already got Flint. I've already got the Televiper. I've already got CoverGirl. The retro stuff doesn't do as much for me. Like, I like the updated. I like the sort of modern spin on classified figures more so than the retro ones.
Okay.
But CoverGirl's, blonde hair, if that's swappable between the two figures, then I might be in. Blowtorch was fantastic.
This channel was famous for ruining the other CoverGirl, so second shot would be good.
Yeah,
because I think CoverGirl's one I said, look, that's the one that looks like Joan Rivers, right? I said it looks like Joan Rivers.
The best. It's not the best, use of that face printing technology. No. The Viper looks good. Heavy Duty, I think, is the one that I didn't know that I needed until I saw it.
Cool.
He looks so cool. So good. There's that Aliens influence with like the heavy duty armor that looks like it's kind of like an exoskeleton mech type thing going on. I assume that all of those things are on articulated similar to how like Heavy Metal was. So that one looks like it's going to be a really, really fun toy.
Yeah, I'm trying to make this bigger so we can look at it here. There we go.
Yeah, that one looks, again, it just looks really fun and really cool, and that's what, to me, it makes for a cool GI Joe figure.
Yeah. Oh yeah, some people talk about looking behind Heavy Duty. Do we know what these little guys are?
I heard that is just the Night Creepers, 2 Night Creepers. It looks like the one's flying, but apparently he's sort of like jumping through the tunnel. It's just bad. They just set it up badly, but they're just they're just ninjas. They're Night Creepers that we've seen before.
But yeah, the Heavy Duty looks sick. And yeah, a chance at the retro CoverGirl. Make her not look like Joan Rivers.
Yeah. I'm kind of curious what they'll do with the Televipers. I had a couple little nitpicks with the Televiper that came with the Trouble Bubble.
What were they? What were your nitpicks?
Well, it wasn't even a nitpick. It made sense the way that they did it. They had the alternate heads. So they had the like the Caucasian skinned head, the darker skinned head, and then the sort of helmeted head. But by extension, they had to have the arms covered because you didn't get alternate arms. So where the Televiper, the vintage Televiper, has a skin colored arm to match his face. They couldn't do it with the Trouble Bubble one. So I'm curious what they're going to do with the retro collection one. I would have rather just had a sleeved arm, to be honest, because it just looked like they'd painted a flesh arm black. So that was my criticism, which, I bought 3. I wasn't that upset about it.
It's a compression sleeve,
Yeah,
those are popular now.
Okay, it's near future. It's a compression sleeve it fits, right? Flint, I think the version of Flint that we got looks really, really good, but I do know a lot of people that sort of cut that body armor out to just have the sort of shoulder strap, bullet strap,
bandolier or whatever. Yeah.
Which, in hindsight looks like kind of a funny design when you okay, it makes more sense with body armor that has that when he has suspenders that are loaded with shotgun shells. It's kind of odd, but but people are into that. So that's the retro line seems to be working for a lot of people. It's just I'm in the minority, I think, that isn't, totally over the moon. And I don't necessarily want, embiggened versions of the vintage figures that I already have. So
oh my gosh, Adam, thank goodness Quip made it. Glad you're here.
Yerp.
Yerp.
The P is the Canadian spelling, by the way.
Oh, is it? I didn't know that. That's good to know.
Yeah.
Anywho, yeah, no, these are all exciting, all look great. I kind of want to see a retro version because I feel like the red and yellow here is a little too subdued. I want that garish red and yellow.
Just absolute ketchup and mustard all over.
Yeah,
that
just
guy.
Like, just doesn't. It's like
yeah.
80s Tampa Bay Buccaneers, just like in your face.
It's so close though with that version. Like I don't know how. I don't know. We'll see. That figure, Blowtorch, was never a figure that appealed to me because of the ketchup and mustard deco.
Oh, it's gross, but I love it.
So gross.
It is McDonald's. It's McDonald's. It's was it the Sun Devils or whatever? The Arizona, some college. That yellow and red in your face.
That figure looks so good though. Like the detail on that, the removable helmet, the clear lens for the mask.
Yeah.
Like, they nailed it. They absolutely nailed it. It's just it's not really for me. I don't know. It's just
give me that hard yellow and that
I have
red.
the vintage one and it's never even made it onto my display shelf. Like it's a great figure, well executed. The vintage one is like, this one is the same scenario.
I'm gonna challenge you, Adam. I think it's time to put it on your shelf.
No. It's no, it does. I can't. There's certain things. So this one, for deco reasons, I just don't. There's something about it.
So you're okay with this then, because this is more subdued. Could this make it, or is this still too?
I don't know. It's still the red and yellow. It's just something about the red and yellow. I don't know. But it's really good figure. So I'm still on the fence as to whether I'm going to pick this up or not. But I'll let you know. I'll let you know when I inevitably pick this up. I'll let you know.
No, you have to get this one because if they do a retro one, it's going to be the one you really don't want. So this is the one you need.
Yeah, maybe when I see a retro one, I'll be like, oh, I'm definitely picking up that one, man. That was way better.
I think when we cover this, I think we had Carson from 3D Joe's on, I think, when we covered this figure on the Toy Geeks podcast. And in there, it was cool. We learned that Ron Rudat had different color combinations for this figure that maybe weren't as garish. So, Adam,
I want Night Force Blowtorch. That's what I want.
Okay.
The figure looks phenomenal, sculpt-wise. But the colors. I can also get this and just drop him in black dye and just,
That's boring. You can't see anything. How will you know that he's fighting fire if he doesn't look like fire?
It's more so that how will I be able to look away from this figure if I have it in my collection? Because I'll be like, why is it there? I gotta
get him some Tiger Force, maybe. Yeah, more.
Sure, I would take a Tiger Force version of this over. I don't know. It's just the ketchup and mustard thing just doesn't do it for me. I have another thing too where I don't like figures that are black and red. Black and red to me is like the easiest, clumsiest color combination.
Ooh.
So you
go on. Okay, go off, King. Let's hear it.
It's so boring. So boring. Black and red, so boring.
I will, black and red. And again, no offense. I don't mean any offense to anybody that likes that combination.
I know lots of people that love figures that are black and red. They love that.
But I feel like black and red is that, 8th grade color palette or something like that. Almost like when you're trying to be too cool for school kind of combination. Black and
red to me is like black. Oh, I did this whole thing in black, but it's a little too boring. So I'll add red and then it'll be fine. It's like,
I need a pop of something. A pop of color.
I don't know. Just that's my hot take for the night. I don't like black and red as a color combination.
Oh, so you've awoken Dan Larson. Blowtorch is in fire camo. Exactly.
Well, if Dan says it, then I can't really. How do you go against that?
Brandon, my buddy Brandon, Rob Liefeld color palette.
Yeah, 100%.
So you hate Deadpool, is what you're saying, or do you like that better because it's red and black, not black and red?
So I like when Hasbro did the like comic book, the like blue and red, that's the Deadpool I like.
Interesting.
Because in comics, very little is actually black. It's like a shade of blue or a shade of gray.
That's fair.
I prefer that. Black and red, meh, I don't. Yeah, I mean, it's fine. I mean, if you have a character and it's black and red and the character is amazing, I'll buy the figure.
Okay.
But is it
like
my
Daredevil? Daredevil, when he had had some silver in there too. That 90s.
That's a cool suit though. That black and red suit's a cool suit.
And that's Daredevil black and you see, you're contradicting yourself.
No. I'm saying if the design is enough to sort of overwhelm my dislike of the color palette, the design will trump the color palette. That's I mean, lots of people love it. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying I don't like it. It's not my thing.
I like this. You stand your ground, okay? Don't let public perception.
I'm standing my ground. I'm just saying you don't have to agree. People don't have to agree. People like black and red. I don't agree with them, so that's fine. We agree to disagree.
Dan says, sounds like someone needs Dan Larson's The Dark Hawk figure.
Okay, so full disclosure, I grabbed this guy at Joe Lanta. I didn't buy Dark Hawk.
Oh, hold on. I'll give you big screen here. Go ahead.
I got this at Joe Fest when Dan was there. And it was sort of like, and this one? And I was like, I'm good. I'll just take this one.
A man of his principles.
Not for me. Not my thing. But that's
fine.
You don't have to like everything, right?
You can like what you like.
Yeah.
Okay. We are officially a no yucking your yum show. Okay?
Absolutely. That's I
do not yuck your yums here.
in that camp. I don't yuck people's yum. But
people are asking what is that?
Yuck.
What is that, Adam?
Oh, that's well, Dan can speak to that. This is Mighty Maniacs Secret Galaxy exclusive. I think this is called the SG1 or SG01. I didn't know I was into Glyos until I got this thing. Now I had a friend, actually a Spiro Toys coworker, pick up the one that they had at the Secret Galaxy Expo. And I'm going to pick that up at Legion's Con. But yeah,
he posted up the
yes, the remaining stock went live today or yesterday.
Social media is a blur. I feel like it was yesterday. At least
I think it was yesterday. Yeah, I think it was yesterday.
And is that on your Instagram? I'll pull it up real quick. I think it was, or it's Twitter, Instagram, all of the above. But yeah, it's they're really cool. Let me pull it. I think he posted on his Instagram. Has a better picture.
Yeah, really cool.
Straightforward picture.
Really cool figure. I love translucent figures. I love this like chunky little like battle beasts kind of proportions. So this I missed it when he sort of did the drop for them on the website. So I was really excited to be able to get it at Joe Fest. And then, like I said, that second one, I mean, come on.
Sick.
Black and red, no thanks. Black and purple, all day, every day.
Hell yeah. You can find all that on Toy Galaxy Instagram page. All right, enough plugging Dan Larson stuff.
Yeah. Hey, jeez. And if you have time, go support his fledgling channel too while you're at it. He needs the subscription.
He did Ghostbusters, Filmation's Ghostbusters, which I, as a diehard real Ghostbusters fan, I became a Filmation's Ghostbusters fan just because I was like, oh, that's why it's called The Real Ghostbusters.
Dan's great. I've now met him a couple times and chatted with him for a total of like 3 minutes, but overheard lots of conversations.
We're not trying to gussy
He's a great
up
dude.
Dan
He's a
Larson,
great dude.
okay? He is a great dude, but
he deserves everything.
You're right.
All the success that he's had and stuff. So that. But
But again, this is not the Dan Larson praise show. Okay, let's keep going on here. Anything else we talk about this guy? You want to talk about anything? What do you?
Oh, I love his high-ally weapon. I love that it can like. That's like the weirdest accessory. That's one of the weirdest accessories I think that GI Joe's really ever had. But it works. I mean, it's just. Although I did think, okay, you got the like hook to the sort of thrower, and then you've got the hook to the the effect part.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna have to throw it from like behind his back for it to go forward. Like the trajectory is kind of wild, but cool.
I love that you're thinking through the physics of the feet.
Yeah. Physics is fun, especially when it comes to realism in toys.
It's great. I still understand how this fictional highlight.
At least it's not black and red.
All right. We need to move on. We're talking a lot here. We need to talk about some Transformers. You're both of our
I'm not a Transformers guy, but when they
don't say that, the Transformers people get pissed at us when we say that,
especially if they're black and red. But they're doing Devastator, but they're selling it to you in pieces, which I think is awesome. And I didn't know I needed a Devastator until they were talking about it today. And they sort of showed two of the 6, and you buy it sort of the old school way in installments, where you got to get the left leg, then the right arm, then the next bit, and I think it's gonna be very, very cool.
No, I agree. I just don't know if I have the patience.
Well, here's the good news. They're releasing like all the pieces within about 6 months of each other. So this is Hasbro not waiting 3 years to do it. This is Hasbro like with a plan that's sort of pretty straightforward. I think they said like March, May, July or something like that. Like it's sort of in quick succession. And you can buy each of them, as its own little kind of transformer. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, no, I agree. I gotta be honest with you, Adam.
Please do.
We'll get back to Megatonus. Okay, I was trying to catch up to the Devastator part. We'll go back to Megatonus. Don't worry. But this is a release schedule. 2 in April, July 2-pack, September 2-pack. I think I want to start collecting that 86 Transformers line.
Like the cartoon accurate decos or whatever?
Just out of that line. That Prime looks really good. The Ultra Magnus looks good.
I'm not a Transformers guy. I mean, I enjoyed the cartoon, had a few of them as a kid. Not a big. I went hard on Earthrise.
Okay.
I got most of the Earthrise figures. And then I unfolded the instruction sheets and I was like, what have I gotten myself into? I was prepared for like G1 transformation, and I got like a jigsaw puzzle mixed with a Rubik's Cube, and I always feel like I'm going to break them when I transform.
It's true. It's true. It's
but
hard. But that's where I'm just like, I love G1 as a kid. They were always expensive, so I had more of the small ones. I had a hand-me-down Optimus Prime. But but I have a pretty sizable G1 collection, which is always behind me here in this Detolf. But in the early 2000s, I jumped back into Transformers pretty heavily with Robots in Disguise and Armada. Bought just about everybody in that time range. And then I burnt out on it then. And I really haven't gotten back into it since, other than slowly piecing together my G1 collection, which I'll continue to pick up pieces that I need if the price is right. But the 86, and there's again a few pieces here and there that I'll pick up, like the movie Soundwave or whatever. Or I have, whatchamacallit? What's the expensive ones from Tomy?
Masterpiece.
Masterpiece. I'll pick up like a Masterpiece.
Yeah, those are gorgeous.
Ultra Magnus and Prime. But I kind of, it's like, ooh, I'm getting that itch. I'm getting the itch to be like, do I need to have an 86 collection?
They're nice.
Yeah, but that's inexpensive.
Can't have everything. Can't have everything.
Do I need another line? Do I need one? I don't need one, but I'm feeling its call as I walk down Target's aisles and I see them there, and I'm like, ooh, that looks fun.
Yeah, I got with the Earthrise stuff, I got kind of all the characters that pretty much all the characters that I wanted. There's I think there's 2 that I missed. That if I ever see them, I'll probably pick them up. But the Devastator was always sort of the what do you call it, combiner, right? Is that what they're called? Like I said, I don't know the terminology. Forgive me, everyone that's gonna judge me for not being a Transformers guy. I'm not, so I'm saying that right at the front, right? But the like Devastator, and then if they did the same thing with the Dinobots, I would be in on that too. And then I'd be done. Then I'd never need another Transformer again. Except those Missing Link ones are pretty awesome. I am debating whether I need those Missing Link ones. There's just something really cool about Transformers, right? It's like I'm sort of really into Cyberzoic right now because it sort of looks like Dino Riders. But dinosaurs and robots are kind of the 2 things that, like, it doesn't matter how old you are.
Yeah.
That you kind of never lose the like, that's cool. There's always you're always going to be pulled to robots and dinosaurs. And then robot dinosaurs is like, that's like the perfect combination.
It's true. So yeah,
that color too is like, it's such a great, that green is so it's so awful, but it's perfect.
It's like I'm looking at I have a vintage complete Devastator.
Yeah,
it's the perfect.
I think it's like bang on. Yeah.
Yeah, it's dead on. Yeah, it's like perfect. It's perfect. Yeah, so this is a Transformer that probably gonna have to get. Cone Killer Confused with a $5 super chat. Y'all need to watch Transformers 1. It's so good. And getting a raw deal at the theaters. I do want to take my boys to it. It's kind of landed when we're traveling a lot and just haven't had any downtime. But I for sure want to get to it. This kind of gray whatever model, 3D printed model looks sick once it's gonna be all done.
I don't think it's funny when you see these videos. They don't like you. It's hard to tell the scale, but I mean, if you get an Optimus Prime in your hand, and then you kind of look at this video next to it, and you're kind of like, "Whoa!" Like, it's gonna be huge.
I feel like Devastator could be one, like, I don't necessarily have to go all the way in. I could just get a Devastator and have a cool ass Devastator on my shelf.
I think so.
And then I'd be good. I'd be fine. I wouldn't need anything else.
Then you'd never have to buy another toy again.
Never again.
No one is ever done collecting toys.
I'm debating that. What the hell is that company? The people in the Catwoman, that really nice Catwoman, that expensive Catwoman 12-inch figure.
I don't know the one they revealed a week ago or something like that.
Yeah, what's the brand? Someone tell me in the chat. But I really want the deluxe version that comes with like both the battle damage, and then just like the clean one. And Jazz Inc. Thank you, Jazz Inc. Oh god, everyone, boom, boom, boom. Not Jazzware, Jazz Inc. But like the deluxe version, because it's not like technically imported into America, it's like, I don't know, $1,300.
Yikes.
So I'm currently debating that, but that's a future J problem of like 2026. So I can ignore that
That's a
level.
really future J problem.
Yeah,
That's not
like,
even. You won't even be the same person anymore. That's
the world
that's
could be
fine.
done by then, and I don't have to worry about it, right? So like, just put it out
YOLO,
there.
YOLO, Jay, YOLO.
Anyway, was it Dave's
Japan
got
won't cost
mad?
you much next year.
Yeah,
so
so
you'll have tons. You'll probably have tons of money in the bank by then.
I'll just be sitting on mountains of cash by then.
Because no one's gonna announce any other toys between now and then either. So you'll be fine.
Not a drop.
That's the collector fallacy too, right? I'll be fine by the
God.
time these come around because there's not really anything else I want right now.
I'm just gonna put a little aside each week. I'm just gonna put a little aside. 2 years? Come on, I could get that easily.
No problem.
What's this dude's name? Like Morgatron or something?
I have no idea, but he also
Megatronus.
Awesome.
Megatronus.
A flaming tank robot? Come on.
He's pretty cool.
Black and purple, right up my alley.
And it's black and purple.
I know. It looks great though. Like the robot mode even looks amazing.
Yes, agreed. And he has that. He's saying he's a prime. He is a prime.
Yeah.
He has that. My favorite kind of Transformers face, which is kind of the Shogun, the samurai kind of
battle mode kind of look.
Yeah. I always prefer that kind of face to the human face. Alpha Magnus being the exception. But yeah, he just looks sick. This looks really good. Not gonna buy it though. I don't need this, but it looks really good.
I think I have so much respect for Transformers fans because they're like there's 80,000 versions of every character.
I know.
And they're like, well, there's not many left on my list that I need. And then Hasbro's like, here's 47 more Transformers. And they're like, well, I only needed 44 of them, so I made out pretty well. That's where I'm lost. There's so many versions of Transformers, and there's so many versions of there's so many primes, and there's so like it feels like it never ends. It feels like they keep announcing more Transformers, like more figures, and I'm like more lost by the day because people are like, well, this is from this, but only after this happened, and I'm like, what is going on? There's
I can't keep track.
It's so dense. The lore is so dense. But
I'm not smart enough to keep track.
No, that's me too. I don't have the brain capacity to keep all of these straight.
But yeah, looks pretty good. Let's keep moving on. Let's talk about Marvel and Star Wars. Remember them? Ever heard of them?
Yeah, they got good. They do some cool stuff.
Star Wars. Spoiler alert: this guy gets killed. So who cares?
Spoiler alert: still no Carson Teva.
Yeah, how do we?
If you came for that news, you
ain't happening.
Be disappointed still.
And no
offense,
I don't
know how they're not
to this guy.
Are they just trolling Star Wars?
I think they are. I think they are because this. I can't remember this character's name. I don't even know this
character's name.
He's in Acolyte.
Yeah.
He's in Russian Doll. He's great in Russian Doll. I don't know if you've watched that show. The person who directed that, I think, directed this and brought him over. And actually dug this character.
Yeah.
But they killed him.
Pretty.
I mean, they killed like everybody in that show.
They killed everybody. I am in the minority that I enjoyed The Acolyte. Objectively, it is not a great show, but I enjoyed it. A little bit of Jedi battle, and got more lightsabers than we typically do over the last few years. It was fine.
Like this guy's named Master Effin' Dead.
They're all dead. Some of them lasted a little bit longer. Good for them. But yeah, at the end of the day, nope. Didn't work out.
Acolyte set 4 of the characters die in this show. I agree. Like it had a lot of problems. But I like that they're trying to do something different with Star Wars, which I know that probably pissed a lot of people off, and I get it.
Yeah.
But I don't mess it up. Try new things. I don't. Yeah. Whatever. It's not going to ruin the original Star Wars. That's still Star Wars. This is just trying to do something different.
Exactly
with the lore.
it.
That's fun.
I think ultimately what it comes down to, this is such a tangent. We're not even talking about the toys. what Star Wars comes down to is like if they don't try anything new, they'll never end up with an Andor. You know what I mean? Like they'll never. You don't know what's going to work until you try it. And I mean, I don't think anybody that worked on Acolyte was like, let's make a terrible show that no one's going to like. Yes. It's never anybody's intention. So it didn't work out. You know, they canceled it after one season where it was just kind of getting good at the end where you're like, who's the villain? What about the other guy that like you never even saw? And they're like, you're never going to know. It's like, okay, well, I guess that's the way things work. But
yeah, it's I'd much rather fail trying something different and new than to do some regurgitated boring crap that has been done 1,000 times.
Ironically, they you know, Star Wars fandom keeps telling Star Wars that they're doing Luke wrong too. So like, what can you do?
Star Wars fandom though hates everything. They hate they hated Empire Strikes Back. They hated Return of the Jedi. They hated the prequel series. They hated the sequel series. And then there's other sides of like, no, it's actually brilliant. And it you can't make everybody happy. Except for Andor. I think everyone can agree Andor and Mandalorian, the first 2 seasons were incredible.
Yeah. Every time Mandalorian has a new season, I rewatch like the first episode of season 1. Just that's all you need to really get a good. I want more of that. Like I want them to go back to Bounty Hunter Mando, where it's just like,
yes,
I get why they don't, because people
I can bring you in warm, I can bring you in cold.
Yeah, and I mean it's pretty gritty too. Like he closes that door on the one guy.
Yeah,
I assume cuts him in half. Like they don't show it, but you pretty good idea that that's what happens. Like so I don't know. It's bring on more Star Wars. I'm excited for Skeleton Crew.
Oh, Skeleton Crew looks fun. It looks like it's gonna be fun. Like Amblin, Goonies.
It's Goonies meets Stranger Things meets Star Wars. It's gonna be fantastic.
In fairness, Stranger Things is Amblin, Goonies.
Well, that's the thing. It's the formula that works.
Obi-Wan,
maybe more.
It's
a good looking figure. But again, like how many? There's been like 4 Anakins in the vintage collection in the last couple of years.
Because of
0
Obi-Wan?
Carson Tevas.
Just give us a damn Carson Teva. What does he got to do? What is the man? He's been in every, or at least the Mandoverse, every damn series.
Yep. He's a captain. I mean, come on.
Okay, this figure's sick. I don't collect Black Series, but I love Savage Opress.
Yeah. That's a really, really good looking figure for sure.
This looks sick.
And it's have they done Savage Opress before
not in
Black Series?
No, not in Black Series. No.
So this is like a first version, and it's they've done a really good job with this. I really, really like this figure.
It looks so good. I'm out on Black Series, but I could, if I see this, I could buy it because this is like, it's just a cool. He's a cool character.
Yeah.
If you've watched Clone Wars, the later season of Clone Wars, great story arc with Savage Opress and then Darth Maul, and really compelling.
They've redone Darth Maul recently and sort of re-released different versions of Darth Maul. So you're gonna, if you've got that Darth Maul that sort of fits this part of the story, I think this is like a no-brainer if you're a Black Series.
We haven't got him in TVC. Damn. But spoiler alert, he dies. Also, quip, fair call out. The mustard to Darth Maul's ketchup. What's your thoughts on Darth Maul? Red and black.
Yeah, but there's a perfect example. Design sort of over like the Sith are often in black.
The red blades.
And then it's his skin that's red. It's not so it's not like a. I mean, at some point somebody chose that as the design, but I mean, I think that character works. God, although I don't have any Darth Mauls in my collection. So
aha. Yeah, he looks sick.
He looks big too.
Yeah. Well, Savage Opress is a big.
He needs to be big. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I gotta call BS on not a single Darth Maul. I'm not even a Darth Maul diehard, but I think in this room right now, I have at least 3 Darth Mauls. Pretty sure.
You know what? No, I don't. I don't have any Darth Mauls.
Wow. Okay.
I was thinking I might have one if they did one in that what was it called? Heroes of the Galaxy or Galaxy of Heroes or whatever, those like 4.5-inch kind of kids ones. I bought a whole bunch of those for my kids. But I don't think there's a Darth Maul in there because I don't think they did prequel era stuff really. It's mostly original trilogy and some sequel stuff.
Okay. All right. That's great. I'm happy for you.
But the SDCC Mall with the little speeder bike,
yeah,
I was close. I was close on that one.
This close.
Because that speeder bike looks so fun. That little round speeder bike.
Marvel Legends showed off their Sentinel, which is on pre-order right now. Are you? Did you have the Haslab Sentinel?
I don't. When that was up for like you know when it was up in the Haslab, I kind of looked at my kid and I was like, I don't think I need a toy that size.
Okay.
And so I didn't get it.
I just don't have 7 inches. Now you're in.
now that my kids are taller, they're now bigger. No, I don't. It's the space more than anything.
Okay.
It's great, and I like this is if I was doing more Marvel Legends stuff, or I should say, if I was still doing as much Marvel Legends stuff as I was, a few years back, this would be a no-brainer. I'd probably get 2, to be honest, because you can't have 1 Sentinel. You definitely need 2 Sentinels. But
I'm in this weird space about it, to be honest.
You have the Haslab one, right?
I have the Haslab.
Yeah.
And it takes up like 2 sections of the 12th down here. And I love it. I absolutely love it. And my X-Men display is there, and a lot of X-Men 97 figures are part of that display. And I'm kind of in this weird place about it where I kind of dig this look more with the 97 or 90s Jim Lee X-Men stuff. And I'm kind of in this, like, should I sell the Haslab and get this?
You could probably sell the Haslab and get 2 of these.
Sure.
Or, sell it and get 1 of these and feed your family for a month.
I already
whatever you prioritize, though.
My family's well fed, okay? They're clothed, they're fed, they're housed. They got college funds.
Lots of toys if they're anything like my kids.
All of that comes before toy buying, okay?
Yeah.
So don't worry. They're not.
I know you're a responsible adult. I kid.
I mean, they could probably eat better if I didn't buy this crap. But I mean, how good does a kid need to eat? They only want Crustables and chicken nuggets.
That's the thing. They don't want good food anyway. They want junk. So it doesn't really. It wouldn't matter what you spend on your kids' food. They're not going to eat it. They're going to push it across the plate anyway. And you're going to tell them no dessert, and then they're going to eat just enough to get dessert anyway. So. But yeah, you're right though. Aesthetically, like I really do like that instead of making, a budget version of the Haslab, they completely redid it. And they're like, okay, that's the Haslab is like that modern version. It's an updated original design. And then here's the X-Men 97. If you want more, animated style, here's your option. Actually, the guy that sculpted this, Dan, is one of the main sculptors with Animal Warriors of the Kingdom, and he's doing his own. He's doing his own line of samurais that we're going to be showing off at Legion.
Oh, cool! So,
yeah,
that's awesome.
Great dude. He was like, "That's the first time I've ever had to sculpt articulated hands." I was like,
"They look really cool. They look really good. They look really good." Blake from Toy Collectors here. Is this where the cool kids are tonight? Always Toy Collector Sunday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, maybe 9:04, depending on when I actually hit the live button. But yeah, no, it looks great. It looks really, really good. Really good. We had more reveals. We had this Marvel's Falcon. We had a Captain America and Red Hulk. I'm out on MCU Marvel Legends figures. I kind of don't care anymore.
I was kind of never in on MCU Marvel Legends figures, so but these look great, and I think as far as MCU, these are some of the more fun ones to do for sure, right?
Agreed.
With the wings and like more accessories, and I like these more than a lot of the other designs that they've done in the MCU up till now. The wings look great. They had the pictures of them like posed and wrapped around like a holding the shield above the head and then having the wings wrapped around. And he's like a little shell. And then this one very cleverly reusing the wings that you got in the Build-A-Figure wings, because he's reusing the wings that he used. So it makes perfect sense. But that figure looks great color palette wise, like that one. Red Hulk, not really my thing.
I would only get it just for the irony that it's Harrison Ford.
I'm
spoiler alert.
I'm very curious to see how that works. I've seen a lot of people say it doesn't look like Harrison Ford.
Not at all.
I would like to point out that we have not seen Harrison Ford as Red Hulk yet. So are we sure it doesn't look like what he looks like as Red Hulk?
I don't know.
Because obviously it's going to be a CGI'd version. I mean, obviously they're not like Harrison Ford isn't.
Wait. Are you telling me Harrison Ford isn't going to actually turn into Red Hulk?
Well, I don't know exactly how that's going to work, but what I'm saying is maybe this is what Red Hulk looks like when he hulks, so red and black again. Yeah, they're killing me. They're killing me with this stuff.
They're coming after you. I feel like it's personal. This time it's personal.
They're like, hey, that guy that doesn't like black and red? Let's just do a whole wave of black and red stuff. And that's one figure, whatever. It's Red Hulk too. It's sort of like, it's like iconic.
It's his look.
I mean, I don't have a Red Hulk in my collection either. That might not surprise anybody, but
well, if you don't have a Darth Maul in your collection, you're not gonna have a Red Hulk. I'm sorry. I feel like Darth Maul somehow just like appears in your room if you're a toy collector.
When I thought more about it, I'm like, I'm kind of surprised I don't have a Darth Maul. I feel like there's been 84 of them to choose from.
Right, exactly. I'm just saying there's so many. Even if you're a casual Star Wars fan, they show up. Let's see some other reveals. Got an Iron Patriot. I'm assuming that's Iron Patriot, right?
That's a good looking figure. I mean, that's like that. The deco on that looks very nice.
And then Miss Marvel or Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel, not Miss Marvel.
But not. I don't know who this. I don't know who this is. When they were explaining it, I was like, okay, that's sort of a pocket of Marvel comics that I am not.
People let us know in the chat. It's a Marvel of some sort.
In black
Miss
and
Marvel,
red.
black and red.
In black and red. Yeah, I'm like, ugh.
Damn, you're right. Another black and a little splash of gold.
Yeah, I'm not gonna buy it anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, Moonstone, Miss Marvel. There you go.
Yeah, from the Dark Avengers, which, as I said, I was much more in the sort of X-Men camp, as a comic book collector and as a fan.
Same.
So
I didn't care.
Some of these characters, I'm like, I've never even seen that character. But
call me casual.
Yeah,
but I was like Batman, X-Men, Robin. I was more DC, but definitely X-Men. Loved X-Men. Avengers, I didn't give a crap until the MCU. I was not.
Me too.
I did not partaketh or tooketh until the Iron Man movie made me give a crap. And then at the end of the Iron Man, like, have you heard of the Avengers Initiative? I was like, crap. Now I gotta go.
I got some homework to do.
I gotta go read those books now. Anyway, hit like, everybody. Yeah, please do. Please do. 380 people, nearly 400 people watching. Hit the like button, y'all. Gotta hit that like button. I think that's mostly everything, right? Aliens come at night.
I think so. I think that's everything that I saw.
Like we said, our friends at YHS did a video walkthrough of the Ecto 1.
Oh yeah, that was the other thing. Yeah,
vehicle
they did. Yeah, they were.
Haslab. I didn't watch it. I'm a bad friend. I assume they did a great job walking through
They
the
did a
vehicle or
fantastic
whatever.
job. It was you know, if you like Yes Have Some and you like toy anxiety, you know, check that video out if you can find
I
the
think they
link.
posted it
They did
on
their
the
own
Yes
video
Have Some
too, though.
channel.
So if you didn't see them on the sort of Hasbro thing, they did their own sort of look at the Ecto 1. Clearly, it
Yes.
was like it you know, if you like YHS, their video is probably the way to go anyway. So
Wow, so you're telling me not to watch my video of the Ecto 1
no,
walkthrough? That's
yours is
fine.
great too. So
No,
people
no,
that are
it's fine.
watching, you
No,
know, your
avoid mine. Just go watch the YHS one. It's fine.
only
I'm not trying
watch
to feed my
one,
kids.
and then we'll look at the numbers for whose video did better, and then we'll I don't know.
No, watch them all.
There'll be
Honestly,
a prize or something.
I would watch YHS over me, for sure.
I mean, they're you know, is there a more fun group of Ghostbusters
Exactly.
fans? Like
So,
they're so well suited for it. I'm so happy for
it's
them.
perfect.
I'm not a huge Ghostbusters fan.
A lot of red and black.
But that Ecto 1, I mean, that looks pretty
So
awesome.
good.
And my big question was, does it have the siren? And it does, and it
Has that
sounds
siren, baby.
perfect. You can hear the
Has that
Ecto
siren.
1. Like when you look at the Ecto 1, you can hear the Ecto 1, and it's like the lights and sounds and everything that they've got. It's like bang on. They did such a good job with it.
We have YHS in the chat, y'all.
Oh,
but no,
take back all the bad things I said.
You were being really nice about YHS.
I know. I never say bad things about people.
There's only one channel I speak well of a lot and have a lot of fellow channel friends, but like my number one ride or die would be the YHS crew.
They're great. That's why I tune in every Tuesday at 6 p.m.
Every Tuesday. Let's see. All right. Let's look at the charts. So, how are we doing? Well, it is eerily aligned to the Haslab Proton Pack.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are looking at the charts, you can find them at geekdadlife.com. There's a link there. There we go. Yeah. So how would tie for it's same for the Rochesters. Shut up. I was not at MSG today. Good lord. Wild shit at a Madison Square Garden. It is like if you look at the chart, there's parts where it's ahead of the proton pack, slightly under, slightly above. So it's hugging that proton pack line. And so if it keeps at that, this thing is going to easily fund, right? It's already 60%, 60.5% of the way there. You just need 4,742 to fund over the course through December 2nd. Should be able to, if it follows the proton pack trajectory, which is this blue line right here, it should hit it, right? It's doing well.
Yeah.
Where you have to be concerned if you want to get everything that's possible with this set, it is whether or not we get the early bird Tully. So if you are aware or unaware, the Louis Tully figure, which is him being suited up in the Spangler suit with the earmuffs straight out of the Ghostbusters 2, the climax of Ghostbusters 2, where Louis Tully saves the day. Like while the main crew's inside, not really doing anything, it's Louis Tully and his lone proton pack of Neutronowan blasting the ooze that finally breaks through and saves the day. If you want that look of Louis Tully, it is locked behind this early bird unlock that happens or ends that deadline on November 2nd. So next Saturday, less than a week from today. And so Brian Brink in the chart made a little graph, this little light blue dotted line point on the map. And funny enough, that kind of access point, like where it needs to be and where it needs to go, crossed over the past day. And now we kind of saw it with this trend line, but is officially trending behind hitting the Louis Tully on by November 2nd. And so I don't know if we need to like do a lot of campaigning this week or something, but if you're interested, we gotta somehow rally the troops to try and get to it.
Yeah, it's a tough one, and it's kind of interesting because you look at, Brian Brink has very cleverly done a GI Joe classified average. So
Sure.
there's been 3 classified Haslabs, which is that green line there. He's just averaged them out. But it's interesting how like one brand, like I think all 3 of the classified Haslabs have met the funding goal within, like, I want to say within 3 days. I think it's actually like, I think 2 out of the 3 were like within a day, and 1 took 2. But I'm just hedging my bets and saying 3 days. It's interesting, which ones are like immediate big spikes and which ones have like a slower burn. Because you look at those, you look at the chart there, and like the proton pack was a very, it's a steady climb up to the there's a spike on either end, but it's a pretty steady climb. You look at the GI Joe ones, they kind of big spike, not much going on, big spike at the end. So it's just interesting how different fandoms kind of come to these projects and decide to back them. I really hope for anybody that wants the Ecto one that they can get that Tully, because it seems like such a great sort of bonus. That it's really unfortunate that you're not going to get it. And I think in the Plasma series, they didn't have the PKE meter, right? So they're sort of packing it in with Tully.
Did we not get a?
Or
No,
did they?
I thought we got a PKE meter with Egon. I thought, or did I
But
just
then
bring that over from
they're
my
not
Matic
in with the
collector one?
deluxe offering, so they kind of just added it in.
I think
There's 2
so.
things.
I
They
know
said the
it's
PKE meter and something else, but
totally comes with a trap and a PKE meter.
yeah.
Which I believe Egon came with the PKE and Ray came with the trap, or maybe Peter came with the trap. One of them came with the trap on
So if you have those, you've
uh,
got them. But if you didn't, they're kind of, they're giving you a second chance with this. So.
But I think the important thing to remember here is, yes, they do not charge until the last day of the Haslabs. It's by units, not backers. So sorry, it's about like, so for me, I've bought 2. And balloons. And so that counts for 2. So I think there is still a path to have like a last minute surge. It would be an obscene surge though at this point. It would be an obscene surge. But it is interesting. I think, for the proton pack and this Ecto 1, I think it's a bit of timing. Even though I know that when did it say on here when the trap and PKE dropped? I thought it was about the same time, but the proton pack came out when there was the Rancor and the Sky Striker. The Sentinel in this dropped at the same time. Plus, you've already had a GI Joe Haslab, a Star Wars Haslab drop before this, right? So I do think there is a stretched dollar kind of thing, and that's why I think you're maybe seeing a more not as huge day one spike, because budgets are pretty constrained. GI Joe usually gets to play in early, like Comic-Con waters, or earlier. At least the past couple have been June, July. Whereas Ghostbusters kind of gets relegated to the fall, which makes sense because it's Halloween time or whatever. But when you're a Haslab that kind of has to live in that holiday space where budgets are always tight, and a lot of companies are dropping stuff Q4. I think it's a little bit, you're not going to see an easy day one commitment like you would a Haslab that gets dropped in June, July.
And I think, as far as Ghostbusters go, I know a lot of people that are, diehard Ghostbusters fans that are, going to conventions and things fully costumed up, and so the proton pack and the more sort of cosplay type things, those types of accessories seem to have a market already built in. But with the plasma series, like there hasn't, I mean, there was 2 waves of plasma series, right? And then there hasn't been like, and that the first wave of plasma series was like 3 years ago or something like that. So there wasn't a build up to this in a way that we've seen with some of those other lines.
And it's comparable, right? Because this first line is the proton pack. There's nothing like it before. So you kind of had that same level of commitment. But then the second set of props, you had a quicker commitment because you already had the proton pack.
Yeah, exactly. You already had a market that had the proton pack. So I mean, it's a tough one. It's a tough one.
The Toy Anxiety crew is gonna have Pat and Emily on Toy Anxiety on Tuesday. State of Totally, Future Plasma Series, and more. And we hope to get them on our show too at some point in time during this thing. Maybe we'll do a stream on Saturday. We've been in talks. But of course they had MCM London this weekend. But yeah, definitely tune into Toy Anxiety this Tuesday, folks. They're in Friends of GDL. Just scroll down the bottom, click Toy Anxiety, click subscribe and the bell so you don't miss it. But a lot of people that watch this show watch Toy Anxiety, so I assume you will all be there. But check it out. You don't miss it this Tuesday, okay? You don't want to miss it. So yeah, I feel good about it getting funded. I think it's going to get funded. It's healthily rolling along, but Totally in trouble. Totally in trouble. And there'll need to be some type of really strong push this last week to do that, and maybe we'll do a stream closer to the deadline to like rah let's get as many as possible. And yes, the Mondo figs drop on Tuesday, so the Peter Venkman and Sam Hain will drop on Tuesday, and I will be buying them. The end. Are you going to be buying them? You're probably not.
I am not.
Hate cool stuff.
Yeah, I don't even like toys. That's probably the overwhelming impression people are getting.
I think Mondo posted, I think Yes Have Some put it on their Instagram too. I'll pull it up here. Pull it up. Yes Have Some Instagram.
They look phenomenal.
I can't wait. Can't wait. I can't wait for more Mondo figures. I'll do another GDL before Tolyacalypse. I'll be curious to see what they have to say on the Toy Anxiety stream on Tuesday. Maybe we'll get a stay of execution. Maybe we'll push it back a week or something.
Maybe there's an appeal. Maybe there's an olive branch that's going to be extended there. Or something.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see how it works. I don't understand how Totally Unlocks the project is funded. What's the target? It just means if the thing gets funded within 2 weeks, everybody gets a Totally. It's that simple. So if it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whatever. If it funds by this Saturday, everybody gets a Totally. Whether you get the base, deluxe, you bought it before it in that 2-week window, within the entire, I don't know what, 2-month window, whatever it is, and everybody gets a Totally. But you got to unlock it. What's that for Mondo? Oh, if you haven't heard, Mondo is doing a 6-inch real Ghostbusters toy line. Both YHS and myself did a walkthrough video with Mondo at Comic-Con where they displayed the first two packs they're going to be doing. And we're going to be taking orders on that first 2-pack this Tuesday. And it'll be a Sam Hain and Peter Venkman deluxe figure set. And I believe a Peter Venkman will be solo. But for myself, I will be buying this Sam Hain and Peter Venkman 2-pack. We've always wanted an amazing Sam Hain. It looks incredible. Friend of the channel, has co-hosted on this show before. Alex Brewer, who has done the sculpting on them. They just look incredible. So super excited. Tuesday is the day. Sahwain. You're right. But I think they pronounced him Sam Hain on the real Ghostbusters. Agreed, Mondo Ghostbusters is the greatest thing ever. The only thing that's not great is the price. But if you're pissed about the price, don't be mad at Mondo. That's all I'll say there. But really excited for these sets. See, this I don't love this. I don't love this take. I will absolutely be canceling my pre-orders if Totally is not unlocked. The early bird unlock is dirty pool, making it very much like these stupid Kickstarters that penalize delayed backers. I understand that sentiment in some situations, but in this situation, I don't agree. I just don't agree with that take because it's like a nice to have. It's not an essential, you know, we didn't get any plasma series figures. We haven't gotten any plasma series figures. None of the, I guess maybe not enough people ordered or wanted to order plasma series figures for Frozen Empire. Whatever the reasons were, we haven't gotten any plasma series since Afterlife, which is a couple years now. And I applaud Hasbro for, hey, giving us an opportunity to get an Ecto 1 in this scale for the first time when other companies like Mattel couldn't come through. Mezco hasn't come through. I guess Mondo hasn't come through. So they're doing 6-inch Ghostbusters. There's been other companies that have done Diamond Select. There's been other companies that have done 6.5-inch Ghostbusters figures that have not wanted to take on making an Ecto 1. But Hasbro has done it, and they've done a phenomenal job. And they've given us options. They've given us, you know, if you just want the Ecto 1 and our first Ghost in the Plasma series line for the first time, or for $75 more, you get an Ecto 1 or 1A, all the lights and sounds, GB2 charcoal suit figures with new head sculpts for $75 more. And that, and giving us a chance to, like, if this is it, if this is the last hurrah for Plasma series, I think it's a great opportunity. And will it suck if we don't get Louis Tully? Absolutely. But will we be for the worse if we don't get him? Not necessarily, because we have an Ecto 1. And a 1/18th Ecto 1, I'm sorry. If I have a 1/18th Ecto 1, it does not look good. It looks small with a 6-inch figures. It looks small.
I think too, like that logic of like canceling your backing because you don't get like a bonus thing. It's I would say don't back it then at all, because because it's kind of counterintuitive. Like you're, you know, but I also think, you know, that why is anybody waiting, right? They don't charge your card. You know, there's no, you know, if the thing doesn't fund, it's no big deal. But if you decide on day 39 of the 40 days that either, you know, you can't afford it or you don't want it anymore or whatever, for whatever reason, you're welcome to do it then. But it's, you know, I'm always curious, like the people on like days 3 through, you know, the end, like, what are you waiting for? It doesn't, to me, it's always quite a fascinating thing. Having done a couple, or having been involved with a couple Kickstarters, and sort of being a backer of several Haslabs, I'm always kind of like in on day one or not at all. Because it doesn't charge. There's no penalty to you for backing early and showing that you want this thing. And then there's also the sort of knock-on effect of when people see lots of people backing these things, they tend to be more inclined to back them. So the people that are sort of on the fence will be like, this is happening. It's like, you know, they want to be part of something as it's happening. So yeah, it's a weird thing. These crowdfunding projects, and, you know, as I said, like having been involved in them, it's been a ton of fun, but it's an absolute roller coaster. And I can tell you this, and I don't know if this is 100% true, but until you fund, every day is stressful. There's like so much anxiety. Like even if you know that if you're in the Ecto 1 project, and you're like pretty confident it's going to fund by the end, like that's not even a concern. But right now it hasn't funded, so it doesn't matter how close you are until you fund. It's there's so much anxiety. So I think they're probably like offering you that early bird thing to help their anxiety a little bit.
Yeah.
to sort of
exactly.
to sort of
we want
get
to know
them to a place where they're more comfortable, because then they can start making more plans too, right? Like the money's
exactly.
not locked
Yeah.
until the end, but
Yeah.
it gives them an idea of like how many they're going to make, so they can actually start making decisions on the back end a little earlier if they're confident that the numbers are there. So it's to me it's like either be, back early, back often, or back off. And
I love that. Back early, back often, or back off. I love that.
because there's no there's no harm in backing it now. If you're not sure because you're not sure that you want it, that's another thing. But if
yeah,
you
and
want
I
an
think
Ecto
that's a
1
part
and
of
you
it.
plan to get it, back it now. Back it now.
Just do it now. What are you waiting for? There's a lot of reasons why you'd want to wait. Like if you, some people, even though it's not going to charge you till the end, you want to make sure you got the money before you do it. And I respect that. And or there's like, for me, it's like, oh, I know I need to do that. Oh, I keep forgetting. It's like, and then maybe the 10th time we've talked about it on one of these YouTube channels, like, I'm doing it now. I'm gonna do the thing. Or it's the figure FOMO of just like, oh crap, it's less. I need to get it now. I've been hemming and hawing for 30 days now. I gotta get it. I can't not get it. And I think there's a lot of reasons, but it is an interesting dynamic when you're not charged until it fun or the last day. So there's nothing really holding you back. And AJ goes, back now, even if you don't want it.
No, I'm certainly not saying that, but I probably did say that. But I'm not saying that.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, the way that Haslab's set up, like the project ends, and then I think the next day they charge your card, and then I think they send you an email, and it's like, if for whatever reason in the next week, you change your mind, let us know, and we're like, so it's like you're not, you're not over a barrel for this thing until that week is up, and then you are. But
it's true. It's true. I can see this turning into a no Tully, no money situation. I hope not,
man,
because again,
that would be
because there's like what I love, and again, I hate for this to kind of nullify the approach, but I love it's just there's no tiers, it's just you're getting it. You're getting all these things. It's not just like there's the Ecto 1, but then once we hit 1,000, 8,000, we're unlock Slimer, and then 9,000 the library ghost, and then 10,000 Egon, 11,000 Bankman, 12,000 Winston, 15,000 Ray. Like it's just you get everything. You're getting everything on one fell swoop. It doesn't matter. You just gotta get to 12,000. It doesn't matter. There's nothing else. You just gotta get to 12,000. And then on top of that, to your point, probably to like, okay, we know we're committed. We can start getting on this a little bit early. Let's try and get this thing funded in 12 days. They're throwing in this Tully figure, which is a cool figure. We all want it. Would have wanted a Janine more likely, but this is probably an easier throw in because you've already got the figure sculpted aside from a new head sculpt. So it's an easier lift from like a throw in standpoint. I mean, it's a cool figure. It's one that we all want to get. So, anywho, if you have any interest in getting the Tully and want to have the Tully, back now, because it's not going to charge you. It's not going to charge you till 36 days from now. Make it happen, Captain. All right, we're running long. Let's get to some of the things more indie style. So I'm going to click on a little birdie told me you've got an elephant that we want to talk about.
Yes.
Which I believe I have a direct link that should pull it up. Oh my God. How many times am I going to say I'm good with cookies? Chill out.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
So this is just some updates from the elephant that we're doing in Animal Warriors of the Kingdom. So there he is, next to another Animal Warriors of the Kingdom figure, as well as a GI Joe figure, just for scale. He is so big. A big boy. Yeah, he's
chonky.
I think we were sort of looking at about 10 to 11 inches, and I think he's going to be all of that. So the plan at the moment is, and we haven't sort of finalized the articulation, but we're looking at the ears are going to be on a ball joint, so they're going to be articulated ears, And then no articulation in the trunk because it's going to have a bendy wire. So it's going to be a bendy posable trunk. Yeah. But yeah, that's Jason was working on the paint master for that. I
love the eyes.
I believe we're gonna have the paint master at Legion's Con for everybody to see. The complete figure. Standing next to some of the other figures, and you'll probably see tons of pictures in a couple of weeks once Legion Con rolls around. But yeah, just a really, really fun figure, an absolute massive undertaking as far as sculpting and painting, and the molds are going to be huge because it's a way bigger figure than
what's the tool? Is the tooling going
to
to be over $100,000 on this thing? Like, what's the tooling going to be on this bad boy?
I don't know. It's going to be expensive, but once we have the tooling in the catalog, obviously we're going to do more elephants.
Yeah.
I already sort of pitched an idea I pitched the idea to Jason of like, in the same way that there's like the holiday Barbie, we'll do like the every year, we'll have an elephant, and every year it'll be like, what's the elephant going to be this year? It's like, could be under your Christmas tree. It'll take up a lot of space under your Christmas tree, but yeah. So that's
I love the color choices too. Definitely not black and red.
Definitely not black and red.
That's what I love about Jason's color choices. Like, he's got a knack. He's got an eye for it. He's got the right feel for color combinations and stuff.
He even does things like when he'll show us, he'll show us the paint process, and I'll be like, are you sure? And he's like, oh, that's the base coat. It's going to be this color. And I'm like, I still don't see it. I still don't see the vision all the time. But then, you see the finished one and you're like, yeah, that's pretty awesome. Like purples and oranges and blues and brown. Like, it's just so many colors, so vibrant, so much fun. These figures are they're just a ton of fun. He's probably going to do that.
Said no black and red, no sale.
We'll do, maybe one year it'll be a black and red one, and I'll be on here being like, don't buy this elephant.
Judge Dredd's asked
for this one.
When is this for sale? When is that for sale?
So this guy was part of the Kickstarter. He was part of the second Kickstarter. He will not be up for sale for a while. If you back the Kickstarter, you were able to back it. But as far as the actual retail release of this, it's not going to be for quite a while. Like, this probably won't get released till like 2026. So we don't want to have like a big, super long pre-order where people are emailing me like, hey, when's the elephant? I backed it yesterday, or I pre-ordered it yesterday. Like, when am I going to get it? So we'll be sort of putting pre-orders up when we're closer to actually manufacturing the product. But yeah, it's going to be a while, but it's going to be well worth the wait, I think. But yeah, stay tuned for more. That's so if you want updates on Animal Warriors of the Kingdom, the Kickstarter still has the updates. We're still updating on the Kickstarter, so that anybody can look at the updates. Great place to get news on what's sort of going on behind the scenes with Animal Warriors of the Kingdom, because the Kickstarter stuff is what we're working on right now. So it's the easiest place to find the most up-to-date information.
Boom, there you go. And then moving on to another thing.
Yeah, I love this. So this is Gravestone Guardians. This is Garrett's his first name. I can't remember what his second name is. It's his surname. But this is the same guy. If you're a girl dad, you're familiar with this guy's work because he's done Ever After High and Monster High. That's what he's known for. And so now this is like a new line that's his own line. 5.5-inch action dolls is what he's calling them. Garrett Sander. There it is. Sander is the last name. But this is going to fit in with your Motu stuff. This is going to fit in with your She-Ra stuff. It's like that scale and sort of form. And, rooted hair. It's got, the look and feel of those lines. I backed this day one. I love this. I got in on the early bird special, and then he unlocked He's only doing one figure right now. It's this one, but he's unlocked 2 other versions. So there's a like a translucent, sparkly translucent version, as well as a vac metal version, and those are both available right now to check out. Yeah, so
cool.
right, and then the next one down, if you scroll
Translucent
down,
and sparkly.
and sparkly, and
Oh
then vac
shit!
metal. Yeah, so
Vac
I
metal
back.
pink.
Mhm.
Damn.
These are great, and it's just I feel like not enough eyes are getting on this, because I think this is he's got you scrolled past that picture. There's a whole wave of or a whole line of characters that he wants to do, right there. So that's the villains are on the right and all the good guys. That gargoyle like figure looks phenomenal,
Yeah.
so I mean I'm in on this. I
Yeah.
got two girls and a wife who is has been a big She-Ra fan, so this is sort of right up our alley, and I feel like a lot of us kind of pay attention to the boy toy stuff,
Yeah.
and this is sort of a weird crossover where I feel like this sort of
Yeah, I think it hits
fits.
both. Yeah.
I think it hits both, and I would really love to see this project succeed, just because I think they're just cool. I mean, these are cool looking toys.
Yeah, I love this translucent sparkly one, and then that chrome, that vac metal, that looks so cool.
Yeah. So I just, when you invited me on, I said, can we have a couple minutes to plug something that I have I have no skin in the game besides I want this figure. Well, all 3 of them, to be honest. But yeah, it's just, I think I haven't heard really anybody talking about this. You're right. He did launch this. He had a prototype at PowerCon.
Yeah, I remember seeing it. I was like, that's really cool.
Yeah. And then he's kind of just launched it, and it's been a little under the radar. It's like I don't know I don't know why nobody isn't
He needs to
nobody's
do,
talking about this,
not to tell him how to live his life, but he should be doing the old
he should
streamy
be
circuit.
doing it. He should be on here, not me, like that's absolutely. He should be everywhere.
Open invitation.
That he can be.
Actually, I told him when we met him at PowerCon, I was like, hey, whenever you're ready to promote this thing, like, hit me up. Happy to have you on. Because it's cool. I think it's really neat. Again, if you're a She-Ra fan, it does scale. Like, it scales dead on with She-Ra. Was Golden Girls?
Golden Girls.
Girl.
Yeah.
Damn it. Balloons.
That's why I don't put my hands up anymore.
Straight to backer kit is a different move.
I have mentioned that too. I again, not to tell Garrett Sander how to run his business or how to do things, but like I can't help but feel like if this was on Kickstarter, it would probably be back by now. But I do know that
I think so.
There's different reasons for doing different things. Kickstarter takes a lot of money off of the top, so it's
fair.
There's that aspect to it. But yeah, I mean, it's going straight to backer kit. Backer kit is, as somebody that sort of worked through a couple Kickstarters for a couple different projects. Kickstarter takes money, and then if you go to backer kit, which you inevitably have to do, they take money off what you made in Kickstarter plus what you make in backer kit. So it's kind of you get hit twice.
It's like a double dip almost.
It sucks, man. Like looking at the numbers that those companies get just to be the venue for this, it's brutal. But there's a week left for this. If you hadn't heard about this, please go and check it out. If it's not for you, it's not for you. Again, you don't have to like everything, and there's probably somebody out there that's like black and pink, not my thing. I totally get that.
Black and pink is cooler than black and red. Hot take.
I mean, I think it is. But yeah, like this is just these are cool. I'm like I said, I'm in for a few of these. I gotta get the translucent and the vac metal sort of for the shelf. And then one probably just standard one for the shelf, and then one probably to like play with as well. The packaging's really cool too. It's like it looks like it's kind of the blister card is like a coffin shaped, which is just kind of cool.
See, I remember those designs. I kind of wish it was a Kickstarter or something to give it more attention.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm with Andy Stutz. Yeah, I remember I was like, oh, cool. Like, let's talk about it whenever it's on. And I've completely missed this being around. 7 days left, and it's got a ways to go to hit goal. It's a $15,408 with a $45,000 goal. So if this seems cool to you, back it right now. I put links in the chat. I'll put it in the description as well. For the Gravestone Guardians Vampsiphony.
Yeah.
Vampsiphony, maybe. I think is that pronunciation.
The name's a bit yeah, I'm not
it's a mouthful.
that's a tough one.
Vampsiphony.
Doesn't roll off the tongue. But.
No. But I mean, who gives a shit about the name? It's a cool ass figure.
Yeah.
And these unlocks are really cool. This glitter translucent one, maybe that's the one I go for. If we get to 90K, you can start unlocking Voltessa. She's cool. Yeah, there's the packaging.
Yeah.
Packaging is super rad. Coffin with the crystal bubble.
Yeah, that's
straight
like
out
the
of the 80s.
gravestone that they all have like a power stone, and each one of the characters has a stone that sort of is reflected in like what they look like.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. So her powers, she actually absorbs. So in a sort of vampire fashion, she absorbs powers of other characters. That's and sick. Can sort of like use their powers, which is cool. I mean, again, cool lore, cool design,
I like
cool
Agatha.
figures. Well, yeah, I mean, it's very timely.
It's very timely.
It's a great show too.
Agatha. Yeah, let's give it the GDL bump, folks. If you like it, hit it up.
Yes. Yeah, they look. I think they look great. And again, I've collected all the big lines for years and years and years, but I find myself more and more being being sort of drawn to these projects where, it just feels like there's more passion. It feels like there's also the ability to sort of say like, this is what we want to do for the next 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
And be able to follow through on it. Right.
Yep.
Whereas, there's not really
no corporate overlords or bureaucracy. It's just you.
And it's kind of, there's an underdog thing. So I like supporting the underdogs. So.
Or as as being a part of the AWOC team and Wars of the Kingdom or Spiro Toys, there's also challenges with not having corporate overlords or all of the bureaucracy.
Yes, on the you're absolutely right. There's a whole lot of learning on the fly.
But yeah, that's Adam is going to wrap up our show. Nearly 2 hours, back-to-back 2-hour episodes on Sunday night. I'm just going crazy because we still have After Dark after this for the patrons. I got a whole bunch of Motu figures from Mattel. I don't know if you've seen my review of Modulok.
Yeah, I was on the fence,
She-Ra.
and I'm not anymore.
What's that?
I was on the fence for that one, but I'm not anymore after I watched your video.
This is so good. It's such a good figure. Oh, it's perfect. So check out that video if you haven't yet. It's my first toy review in a minute on this channel. I edited it while Colleen was driving us to Winston-Salem. So I was just like, I'm just going to edit in the car. I was like, Colleen, you got to drive. I got to edit this and use my phone's Wi-Fi to upload it and post it. And then I jumped right into the Lost movie. But this thing is so freaking cool. But more reviews to come because I got the first wave of Masterverse figures for 2025, as well as the first wave of Turtles of Grayskull, or Motutmanut, as our friend Brick Something would say.
That is the best line.
It is.
Name for
it's
a
great
line, for sure.
But stay tuned to the channel; those will be coming up as well. But had to get this one out because I was like, this is the one I was most excited about.
That's fun. That's just a whole lot of fun in a small box.
Right. And I love how you can kind of line up the heads, kind of. Anyway, it's awesome. Anywho, that's gonna do it. Adam, what's coming up in your world?
Just doing my thing Sunday afternoons, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. I will be at Legion's Con, November 9th and 10th with Spiro Toys. Our table is going to be pretty dope. We're going to have the Wave 4 figures that just landed. We're going to have some of the painted prototypes from the Kickstarter stuff. We are also going to have painted and I believe unpainted prototypes for our Bushido line, which is Samurais and Oni. And then I am also going to be bringing samples from Space Zombies from Mars, which is a new toy line that actually I am partnering with Arlen Pelletier. I guarantee if you collect action figures, you have something that he's sculpted on your shelf. He is terrible at self-promotion, but he did Serpentor. That's sort of the quickest, easiest thing that I can think of, among many other figures for many toy lines. So stay tuned for that. But more coverage in a couple of weeks on that. That's pretty much it.
That sounds pretty awesome. So yeah, if you see
it is,
Adam at Legion's Con, definitely say hi. And again, Adam's channel, highly articulated, is in the Friends of GDL, I'm pretty sure. So go down there, click on it, or just search highly articulated. It's got the cool cat on it.
Yeah. It looks like it's not a ripoff of Felix the Cat.
I think it's more Heathcliff to me than Felix the Cat.
Yeah. There was a few things borrowed there. It's meant to be. So I had a cat. I had an orange tabby that had one eye, like one cloudy eye. So that's what it's supposed to be.
I love it.
So yeah, I love that logo too.
It's a great logo. It's a great logo. And on that note, thank you so much for hanging out, everybody. Again, we got new Toy Geeks coming up this week and more reviews for new Motu. So stay tuned to this channel. Hit up Toy Anxiety this Tuesday. More details about the Ghostbusters Ecto 1 and 1A Haslab. Check out all of Adam's awesome stuff on his channel, as well as see him at Legion's Con. And for our patrons at patreon.com/geekdadlife, I'll see you in like 5 minutes for After Dark. And until next time, hasta luego and goodbye. See you, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Ooh, yeah, here we go. See ya.